Good morning, dear students. So, since on 14th of August, you have got MCQ test on chapter that is 2, inverse trigonometric functions. So, I would like to revise some of the points that you must go through before writing the test. Okay, before attempting your questions, you must go through all these points. First of all, I would like to make you remember that what you learned in class 11 in trigonometry, that is the these trigonometric functions and their domain and range. Okay, so you see here sine function one by one. Sine function, its domain is real number, the set of real numbers. Any real value, for any real value there is value of sine function. It is between -1 and +1. That means it will neither go below -1 or nor go below above +1. So it is like this. When we draw the graph of sine function, how we draw? At -pi it will be 0, and at pi by 2, -pi by 2 it will be +1, and at 0 it will be again 0, and at pi by 2 it will be 1, then at pi it will be 0. This is the graph of sine function. Now, so you see, sine functions is ranging between, means its value is always between -1 and +1. Okay, no? It is +1 and here it is -1. So it is not going below -1 or not going above +1. That all these things you have learned. Cosine function also same way, but the graph will not be like this, because cosine functions, how it is. So the cosine functions graph is this one. Cosine function also, it's having the same domain, the set of real numbers, means for any real value there is a value for cos function. So cos of any real number has got some value, but the value is always between -1 and +1. At 0 it is +1, at pi by 2 it is 0, and at -pi by 2 it is 0. Again it is at pi at -1, again at 3 pi by 2 it is 0, and at -pi it is -1, again -3 pi by 2 it will be 0. Then when it will be again next, that is what called twice pi, it will be +1. So it goes that way. You might have noticed when we have studied the graphs of this sine function and cosine function, you might have noticed that if we restrict the domain of this sine function and cosine function, restrict means suppose we only think about that portion of the graph between two values of the domain, then you will see there is no repetition in between those two values of the domain. There is no repetition of y values. Otherwise, you see y values is repeating here for sine function. Just you see at pi by 2 it is +1. Again you see at 3 pi by 2, at 3 pi by 2 it is -1. But when it will be 5 pi by 2, just see, think about 5 pi by 2, students. You just see here what I am saying. This is pi, this is 3 pi by 2. 3 pi by 2 it is -1. Again at 4 pi it is it is twice pi, it is 0, and again at 5 pi by 2 it will be +1. So you see this, it is 1, here it is 1, so y value is getting repeated, 1 1, like that it is coming. But if we restrict the domain, suppose we think between two values of the domain, then you may see a portion of the graph where the values are not repeated. Just you see, if I talk about pi by 2 and -pi by 2, between these 2 points on the domain, just you see the part of the graph how it looks. If you look at the graph of sine function between -pi by 2 and pi by 2, you'll see that there is no repetition of values. Means for sine pi by 2 it is +1, for -pi by 2 it is -1. For suppose it is say pi by 6, then it will be half, no, it will be half, and for -pi by 6 it will be -half. So you just see, that means here between this point and this point there is no repetition. There we can explain the existence of inverse trigonometric function, inverse of sine function. So there you can explain the existence of inverse function, because we have studied inverse function about the functions which are 1 1 and on 2 function, they have got inverse function. So here 1 1 and on 2, because for every one value there is one y coordinate, and that is unique also, distinct and unique value. So then we can use that term here, that we can say that sine inverse exists in restricted domain. So in this part sine inverse is there. Again between pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2 sine inverse will be there. So like that. So sine inverse or cos inverse or tan inverse, you say, all these inverse trigonometric functions are existing in restricted domains. So that is what I want you to remember through this review class today. That's why I brought this table to you in front of you, that sine is always from real to this range. No? Then from this to restricted domain of this real domain, we can explain there is sine inverse function. So sine inverse will be from this to the restricted domains, means one part of this real portion. So then cos also the same way. Not only, I'm not saying that minus 1 is addition of what call it is having pre-image in this, then only in some portions. In many portions it has got pre-images. What I am saying that, so sine function, what I am saying, sine function is from real to this range, but I am saying that sine inverse is existing, not this to the whole real. It will be like this, this interval, that is minus 1 to minus 1 1 2, it has got sine inverse is existing, minus 1 to minus 1 1 2, that is minus pi by 2 2 pi by 2, and then pi by 2 2, minus 3 pi by 2, plus 3 pi by 2. So that way in this restricted domains sine inverse is existing, means there can be a function like this, sine inverse function from minus 1 1 2, minus pi by 2 2 pi by 2 or sine inverse function from minus 1 1 2 pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. So that way the sine function is existing, sine inverse is existing. That way cos inverse function also is existing in restricted domain. That is what my point is. So in restricted domain these inverse trigonometric functions exist. Okay, so tan functions domain is all real numbers except these odd multiples of pi by 2. All real numbers except the odd multiples of pi by 2, because tan is the quotient of sine and cos. Cos is not defined at odd multiple of pi by 2, because tan function, tan is actually what? Tan is equal to sine by cos. So since cos is not defined at odd multiple of pi by 2, means the denominator, it is defined, but since it is a denominator here, it will not be defined at odd multiples of pi by 2. That's why the domain is real minus all the odd multiple of pi by 2. Then the range is the whole real set of real numbers. So tan functions range is the whole set of real numbers. Remember this, because while we will be discussing in inverse trigonometric functions, this will be useful, because inverse will go from here to this side, no? So that is the thing. Cosecant, real numbers, but this is what called integral multiples of pi. Real numbers, but integral multiples of pi you have to remove from here. So range is all the real numbers except the set which contains the numbers between minus 1 and plus 1. Okay, all these numbers will be excluded, but minus 1 and 1 will be taken, but except minus 1 and 1, all the numbers between this interval, in this interval, will be extracted, will be removed from real number set. That is the range of cosecant function. Then secant function, same, the range is same as cosecant, and then here the domain is all real except the odd multiple of pi by 2, because secant is 1 by cos. Cotangent, it is cos by sine. So sine is when it is denominator, sine will not be defined at this denominator cannot be 0. So that's why n pi means all the real except n pi, means all the integral multiple of pi will not be taken here, because it is caused by sine, and sine will be 0 otherwise. So the range is or the whole real numbers, no? The set of real numbers. So now students, this is about the trigonometric functions that we have learned in class 11. Now let us go to inverse trigonometric functions. So dear students, so sine function, sine inverse is its domain is -1 to +1 in the closed interval, and the range is -π/2 to π/2, or you can say π/2 to 3π/2, or you can say 3π/2 to 5π/2, that way. That means sine function has got with this domain so many ranges are there, so we will get different ranges, okay. But I am saying that all these ranges are different. All these ranges are different. So sine inverse is existing only in this restricted addition, not domains only. So we can say that sine inverse -1 to +1 from this domain to -π/2 to π/2, or we have to say or. That is the point that we have to remember. So now you see this range is called principal branch of the sine function. Principal branch. You have learnt about principal branch. What is principal branch of sine function? For sine function, principal branch is, that is -π/2 to this range, -π/2 to π/2. This will be the range principal branch for sine function. The same way, so sine inverse function. I am not saying sine function, sine inverse function. So the same way, principal branch for cos inverse is different, principal branch for tan inverse is different, and so on. Got the idea? So we'll study about the inverse functions, the domain and range just now. Here is the whole list of inverse functions and their domain and range. So you see here students, sine inverse, its domain is -1 to +1 in closed interval, and the principal branch is -π/2 to +π/2. Now the values which will lie in this interval will be called principal value for this sine inverse function. Suppose I want sine inverse of suppose I want 1/√3/2, sine inverse of √3/2, that will lie between -π/2 and π/2. So that is π/3. So this is called principal value. So generally we look for principal value of inverse function. So that's why we need to remember the principal branch of each trigonometric inverse trigonometric functions. So sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, for all these you have to remember the principal branch. So that means you have to look for principal value in the principal branch. Means, as I told you, suppose sine inverse √3/2 I want. What is the value of sine inverse √3/2? Then I will look for this √3/2 lies in the in which branch. Means for this sine inverse √3/2, which value will be lying between these two, which will give us √3/2 for sine, that is π/3. Means sine π/3 is √3/2. So this value will get from π/3. So this π/3 lies in this. So that's why we call it principal value. So for all this cos inverse, now it is easy to remember because domain is actually the range of all trigonometric functions. Now just you see, compare with this table with the previous table that I have shown you. Look at this table. Here the range was what? For sine function the range was -1 to +1. That has become domain now for sine inverse function. For cos -1 to +1, that has become domain for cos inverse function. For tan inverse, domain is R, means set of real numbers. For cosec inverse, the domain is R minus open interval -1, +1. Then sec function also, the domain is this one, and cot functions domain is this one. That is, all these range have become the domain of these inverse functions of these inverse trigonometric functions. Got the idea? And in the range, from this domain we have to find out the particular ranges, because you see the whole this one, no, for the whole set of domain, this inverse function does not exist. That means for this domain -1 and 1, you can't say that the whole range will be R. Like that you cannot say, because it will not be 1 1 and on 2, because our question is about inverse function. Inverse function is this one existing only when the function is 1 1 and on 2. So that will not be 1 1 and on 2. That's why you need to be careful while you will be taking the range. Range always the principal branch, okay, and the value that will lie in the principal branch will be called principal value. That is about inverse functions. Please go through this whole list, okay. So dear students, you see the graph of sine function. So here you see the sine functions, it is swinging from -1 to +1. It is not going below -1 and above +1. This is the graph of sine function. Now at the same time, let us see the graph of sine inverse function. This is the graph of sine inverse function. Sine inverse function will be between -1 and +1 in the domain -1 and +1. This what called within particular what called principal value branch. No, that is between between pi by 2 and -pi by 2. So this is the graph of sine inverse function. Got the idea? So one branch is -pi by 2 to +pi by 2. Another branch is pi by 2 to 3pi by 2. That way. So when we talk about sine inverse function, in some particular in restricted principal branch only we will have to say about it. So sine inverse is existing when in a particular branch you are talking about the sine inverse function. Got the idea, students? So like that, between -pi by 2 and 3pi by 2, there is another branch where sine inverse is existing. But you can't say that sine inverse is existing throughout the whole this one, no, or what called in the whole real number set is the set of what called is the range. Okay, we can't say like that. It is just different ranges are there, means all these ranges are restricted to particular domains. Graph of cos function you can understand here. That is, it is between -1 and +1. It has got range, but the domain is the whole set of real numbers. For all real numbers there are values, but values are repeating. No, at 0 it is 1. Again at 2 pi it is 1. But if we restrict the domains, suppose we talk about the domain between 0 and pi, from 0 to pi, in this portion if you see there is no repetition. From if it is 0 it is 1, if it is pi it is -1, if it is pi by 2 it is 0. So like that. So in this, between this 0 and pi there is no repetition. So we can define the cos inverse function within this interval. So like that there will be so many branches of cos function also, where we can define cos inverse function. So the graph of cos inverse function will be just like this. You just see. So here is the graph of cos inverse function. So the graph of cos inverse function is, that is when it is lying between -1 and +1, the domain is from -1 to +1. So within that domain, the cos inverse function, when we talk about, then we have to say within this principal branch, within the this one what called branches only. So one branch is here from 0 to that is pi. Okay, another branch is from 0 to -pi. This 0 to pi is called the principal branch. The 0 to pi is called the principal branch. Again from pi to, again there it is 2 pi, like that it will go on. So -pi to -2 pi, it will go on like that. So that way, that is 0 to pi one branch, 0 to -pi another branch. So that way in these branches the cos inverse is existing. Means what I am saying, that means suppose it is 0, then it will be equal to sorry, if it is 1 it will be equal to 0, if it is -1 it will be equal to that is 0 only. So that way, sorry, when it is -1 it will be pi, and when it is 0 it will be 1. So that -1 pi, so 0 1. So within this interval -1 and +1. So this graph is, this part of the graph, you can say this part of the graph is not repeating, no, not repeating. So this is within this particular what called principal branch, this is cos inverse graph. Okay, so 10 functions, its graph is this one. So there is at pi by 2 there is a asymptote, vertical asymptote. At minus pi by 2 also there is a vertical asymptote, because near to pi by 2 and minus pi by 2 the 10 functions value is infinity. So that means it will go towards positive infinity or towards negative infinity. It will never meet at the asymptote, no. So it will be very large or it will be very small. So like that, the tan inverse tan inverse can be explained in restricted domain here also. So like that, so let us see the graph of tan inverse function now. The vertical asymptote of tan function will become now horizontal asymptote between this say minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. So the graph will go like this, very close to this horizontal asymptote but not reaching that horizontal asymptote, and one through this pi by 2 also there is an asymptote. So through it will go very close to this asymptote but it will not reach, it will not meet that asymptote. So like that, so this is tan inverse graph in this principal branch. So in another branch, this is not principal branch, in another branch this is also tan inverse graph. In another branch between minus pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2, this is also tan inverse graph, but this is not principal. Principal branch is between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2 only. Is it clear, students? So the graph of cosec function is, just you see, it is between 0 and pi. The graph is going upward, but it is not coming below this -1. So it is always above not below +1. It is always above +1 or it is always below -1. So that is the graph of cosec function. So between this 0 and pi, the graph is near to pi, it is always going towards the vertical asymptote. So near to 0, it is going towards the y-axis but not reaching the y-axis. So like that, at pi, between pi and 2h pi also there is a, no, this is the cosec functions graph which is below -1. So between pi by what call pi and between 0 and pi, 0 and minus pi, the graph is always downward. It is below -1, so it is going downward and it is never reaching y-axis and this vertical asymptote. This is the graph of cosec function. Now look at the cosec inverse function. So the cosec inverse function's graph is that horizontal form, means the cosec function's graph, you just place them horizontally, how it will look. Between this 0 and pi, the graph is beyond this 1, not between 1 and -1. So that's why we have described the this what called domain also, the set of real numbers except the interval -1 and open interval -1 and +1. Okay, no? So that is the graph of this cosec inverse function. The graph of sec function, as you know, sec function will be between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, one branch, one portion. Then between pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2, another portion. Because at pi by 2 sec function is not defined, at minus pi by 2 it is not defined. That's why the graph will go upward. It will never reach this what called vertical asymptote, and it will be always above 1 or below -1. It will not never be between 1 and -1. What we got in class 11 also. I am just reminding you what you got in class 11, because now we need to study the inverse functions graph. So the sec inverse functions graph is this one. As you know, it will not be between -1 and +1. This the domain will be all the real numbers except the open interval -1 and +1. No, that's why the graph is going 1 to a positive side of 1 and negative side of -1. Okay, so it will never reach this to horizontal asymptote. What was vertical asymptote for sec function, now that has become horizontal asymptote here. Got the idea? So this is the graph of sec inverse function. If you take some values, and you will automatically understand here how this graph is to be drawn. Okay. graph of cot function is this one. You can see here the graph is going upward but not reaching y-axis in the branch 0 to pi, and it is not reaching this vertical asymptote at pi because it is going downward, because you see cot function is not defined at pi, because cot function is what? Cos by sine. So that's why it is not defined at pi or at 0. That's why the graph is going upward or going downward. Got the idea? So cot inverse function is, this is the one. Here you can see the vertical asymptote of cot function has become horizontal asymptote. Here the cot function is, cot inverse function's graph is not reaching the x-axis, as it is going closer to closer x-axis but never reaching it, and at minus pi also it is not reaching the horizontal asymptote. So at pi by 2 it is, at pi by 2 it is intersecting the y-axis. Just look at the cot inverse functions graph. So these are the inverse functions graph. So dear students, actually due to time reasons, it is I am little going little faster because it is just revision class only for your test. So you just practice the graphs by yourself at home. Later on we'll see if you can't get those graphs by yourself, we'll see, because it is part of our syllabus also. We have to study the graphs of inverse trigonometric functions. Today just I have reminded you for the coming test. So later on, when you get time, you go through all the graphs and try to practice by yourself. Okay, and I'll be helping you, don't worry. Thank you very much.